So, so I don't know if anybody is watching right now. I've never done this live stuff, so I thought, what the hell? I'll give it a try. I think it's showing two people are watching. If anybody's watching, if you could just send me a message and let me know if the sound is okay, visuals okay. All right, cool. Hemi sidetrack. Thank you very much. So I thought I'd just give this a try and go on live for the first time by myself. What's up, Bigfoot? Thank you. Sounds good. He says he's got to pop in and out. Um, I don't know. For all you guys that do follow me and stuff, I figured maybe somebody's got some questions about the build on the 68 Charger. If you do, feel free to ask. If not, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of talk about it and until people have questions. What's up, Mike? So I'm sure you know if you follow, basically trying to push really hard to get the Charger together and running for the duct tape drags, which is in October. It's going to be pretty hard, to meet that deadline considering everything that needs to happen with the car. Even though it looks like, a lot of progress is happening, every time I mean, this is actually funny because this is, I've been kind of thinking this is going to take a lot of work and I don't think I'm going to make it. And you might have heard me say that in some of the videos. And then right about the time I was starting to get the lower control arms in the first time and the torsion bars, I was actually thinking to myself, you know what? I could probably get the spindles on, rotors on, brakes done, bled. Like I might actually make it. And then that's when I figured out the headers, the header on the passenger side cause all the problems and just like totally deflates you, It's like, man, what a shot to the gut. So anyways, I don't know. I'm not going to get my hopes up anymore. I'm just going to keep powering along and try to reach that goal and try to get the car going and running as best I can. There's still a lot of work that needs to happen. I need to get electrical in the car, which is going to be a big one. I'm debating if I'm going to do that or not. I might actually, the electrical has been hacked. It's just like, I don't know what it is with Mopar guys from the 60s and 70s. They always got to tweak with the freaking wiring on them. So there's some wiring hacked in there. The car did run. I was able to fire up the 440 that was in it. So it's possible I can get the old wiring to work. So I'm debating on that. It just depends on how much time I have. I got to get the steering column in. Like I said, the disc brakes on it. I still got to go through the whole rear end. I got to put brakes on it, the brake lines on the housing. I wanted to change the third member. I've got a 355 Sure Grip I wanted to put into the car. I did buy wheels and tires, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And this something else too, kind of a little side journey thing here. I actually reached out to a guy to do some artwork to get a Jonny Mopar t-shirt. So you guys are, other than select few, you guys are kind of the first to hear any of this. And I'm hoping that comes along pretty soon. So I'm hoping when I get to the duct tape drags, I might have some t-shirts with me that you guys can buy. I'm pretty stoked with it, how the artwork looks. And yeah, I can't wait to get those done. It's going to be pretty sweet, pretty epic. I'll give a hint. It's got that blue 68 Charger on the back, and then it's going to say Jonny Mopar on the front. So, all right, let me go through the posts here and see what kind of questions or comments we've got. Hemi sidetrack. I'm in Tasmania, Australia. What's up, dude? You're probably the farthest away. Right on. You guys got some cool Mopars out there. I actually like some of your your Mopars you got. I wish we had some of them out here. It'd be pretty cool. I like those cars. Bigfoot. Any more feedback from TTI? No. I made that first video, which shows me fixing the header or bending the header out of the way. I think, a little more not in their face. I did email them that video and just kind of encourage them to like double check everything. Double check that the jig was right. Double check that if they have some sort of lot history record, to make sure that the part numbers that I got, like my right header actually was for 68B body. I think it's good if it was my company and I got a complaint like that. So when I talked to him the first time on the phone, Sam, who I believe is the owner, I mean, he's a super nice guy, and he was very willing to help me out. But I could tell, like, he felt like he was adamant that every single header he makes is exactly the same. And the reason the header doesn't fit is because there's differences in the car. And a lot of people gave a lot of feedback, like, is the motor sitting in the car straight? Is it crooked? Because those motor mounts, I mean, there's a lot of slop in those motor mounts. You could potentially get the motor cockeyed one way or the other. I'm telling you, it's very flat. It's very even in the car. There were things like motor mount thickness. Now, if the thing is 100 thousandths, maybe 200 thousandths difference, I mean, it's possible. But just kind of generically looking at it, it looks like a normal stock motor mount thickness. So I don't think there's any issue there. And if you watched the videos, you guys could see how far off it was. It wasn't just like, oh, I just need to flex a tube. But Sam was thinking that it's just needs a small amount of movement. And, I told him I'm concerned. I don't want to go through the trouble to pull the header off, go all the way down to Corona, have them tweak it, come home, and it's not enough, and then have to repeat the process. It's like, I just want it fixed. So that's when I asked if I can do it on the car myself, and he said, yeah, just do it this way. Anyway, that was a long answer for no, they haven't responded. I wish they would double check and just come back and say, whatever. Say, yeah, we found the problem, or, no, we still think it's your car. Hey, if this video somehow reaches him and they want to come and look at the car, they're more than welcome to come and look at the car. I've got no issue with it. Like I said, if it was me, I would do everything I could to try to rectify the situation and try to ensure that this doesn't happen again, because I've gotten a lot of comments. There's been a lot of people that said, make TTIs fit like a glove, which I understand, because I have those same headers on my 68 Cornet, and they do fit like a glove, no issues. I've also had a lot of people say I've had the exact same problem with my TTIs on my car, on my Mopar. So it's not just my headers. This is happening, to several cars. So, my engineering hat, if it were me and I had a jig and I was building headers and this issue came up, maybe they could do something like mount something so they can put a torsion bar in its proper stock location, or mimic a torsion bar, so to make sure that those tubes are out of the way when that bar goes across. But anyway, I haven't heard anything from them. I think they're just going to ignore me, and that's fine. I should also say, and I'm not trying to bash them. I'm not trying to hurt their reputation or anything like that, but there has been a couple of people that were like, man, I was just about ready to pull the trigger on buying some TTIs, and they're not going to buy TTIs now. I think on two occasions they were talking about Doug's. If you guys watch Just Mopar Joe, he did a video on a 72 Roadrunner with a 383 in it, and he bought Doug's headers. And granted, it's a 383 low deck, so I think if this was a low deck, it probably would have cleared. But he didn't have any issues putting those headers on that Roadrunner. So, all right, let me go up here, see what else we got. Iron Horse, what's going on? How you guys doing, man? Mopar Nut 62, what's happening? That's one of the coolest dudes ever right there. This guy is on all of our YouTube channels, always making comments. He's probably one of the greatest guys you guys can ever meet and talk to. And he's got a wealth of knowledge, just to throw that out there. Iron Horse Garage, anywhere from 2TI after public frustration. Just addressed that. The answer, quick answer is no. Bigfoot is saying hello to Mopar Nut. Mike, sweet t-shirt sounds good. Thank you, sir. Iron Horse Garage, Bigfoots and Mopar Nuts. Mopar Nut. Hey, Bigfoot, Bigfoot Nuts. Iron Horse, haha. Maybe I shouldn't be reading off every little thing. All right, I'm going to go silent and just read, and if it's relevant, I'll say it out loud. Oh, Mike, like that 318 and Hoosiers Duster way tweaked. Like that 318 and Hoosiers Duster. Oh, I saw him pull the 318. When you say tweaked, are you talking about because it was, what was it out of? It was out of something funky, wasn't it? Oh, it was because it had a slant 6 K-member and it was a 318 sitting in there and the thing was like totally sitting sideways. Mopar Nut torsion bars bend if you wish hard. I'm actually surprised because when I was trying to get it in there, I was surprised how much the torsion bar would flex. I was like, man, maybe I can get it to slide in. Iron Horse, did you receive some stickers yet? I did, sir. I haven't opened the envelope yet, and I was going to open it and put it on a video. Didn't do it on this last video. I'll try to get you on the next one. Ryan Barsnest, hey, what's up, dude? Frank Parks, past my bedtime here, Mopar, Risto, Somerville, Georgia, but was up to see your live. Go, Johnny, go. Don't do project deadlines, just do your projects. Thank you, sir. That is exactly what I'm going to do. Is I'm not really worried about whether I'm going to make it or not. Well, I should say this. My goal, my closest goal is I just want to get the car on wheels and rolling, preferably with brakes. And I'm probably, if I can get that far and I don't get the car running or anything like that, I'm going to be hitting you guys up that are going to duct tape drags to help me push the car over to General Mayhem. Hopefully they're cool with it, but I'd really like to be able to park my dad's blue Charger right next to General Mayhem at the show. I'd like to make a collage or something like that of all the pictures that I have, but I'm not sure how. I'm not sure about time, and I don't know how it'll look. So that's just a thought that'll probably slip away, and I won't end up doing it, or won't end up doing it. Okay, so, and good night, Frank Parks. Since you're probably you're on the other side of the country, so yeah, it's pretty late for you. Just Mopar Joe, all right. Mopar people, what's up, small time YouTubers? What's up, Mopar Joe? Or do I address you as just Mopar Joe? Iron Horse, nice shirt, Johnny. Thank you, Mopar Nut. See ya. Hey guys, hey howdy, Bigfoots, Ryan Joe. Thanks, Johnny. Just Mopar Joe said, thanks, Johnny. The gang's all here. Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like everybody's here. I was kind of surprised. I didn't have any, agenda. I've got a bunch of ideas. I've been thinking about doing this live thing for a while now, but I'm thinking more on the other side of the duct tape drags. But I was planning on going on Talking Mopars tonight, and I think Chris is kind of delayed and may not do it at all tonight. So I thought, I've been kicking this around. Let's just go on here and see what happens. But there's 12 people in here, it looks like. Joe, where are you going with those headers in your hand? That's Mopar Nut to just Mopar Joe. Slant, Mike mounts. Where else I got my shirt? So Iron Horse, just Mopar Joe says he got his shirt, waiting to do big unboxing video. 3 team will run. Sent me a coffee mug. LOL. Ryan, hey Mopar Nut. Mopar Nut says they should still address your issues, Johnny. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I mean, if it was my company, I would have a different approach. I mean, um, I think most everybody probably agrees, like, TTI's got a really good reputation. And the key thing I keep hearing and over again from people is that their headers fit. That's why people buy them. Now, in doing this build, I'm spending a lot of money on this car. And there's some things that I spent a little more on, I could have spent less on. But like the headers, I figured buy the best, and not have to deal with issues. Just buy them, you bolt them on, you move on to the next thing. So this thing really threw me a curveball. And I paid $1,300 for those headers. So I think once word starts getting out, if this is a reoccurring issue, word starts getting out, I think it's going to hurt their business. So if it were me, I would want to address it, somehow find a resolution to it so that I don't have more headers going out there. Because I guarantee you, all those guys that have made comments and sent me messages that said they've had the exact same thing happen to them, they're not going to buy TTIs again, And I mean, you guys have seen my yard. You see how many Mopars I got. I think this is the last set of TTIs I'm buying. Unless something radical happened, like they fixed the problem and they sent me proof that it's been addressed, and I'd be more than happy to spread that word if that were the case. So let's see what else we got. Mostly everybody's just saying hi to everybody. The Jason Meister says, going to Matt's Las Vegas. Yes, sir, I am. I am not taking anything cool, though. I'm just going to jump in the 2015 Dodge Fart and drive it to Vegas and hang out with Chris Albert from Talking Mopars. So, I mean, I would love to take an old school car, but I'm not ready for it. And then I'm kind of concerned about the heat. Almost all of my cars run freaking hot, and Vegas is hot. California is hot. So usually, the only time I have freedom to kind of drive around stress-free is in the wintertime around here. My D100 does do pretty good in the heat. It doesn't overheat like the other vehicles. It also has a stock radiator. I keep hearing that too. Seems like stock radiators do a lot better than aftermarket. I'm optimistic. My wagon is not really ready for prime time, but I have a Champion radiator in it, and we'll see. I haven't been able to drive it because I need to get it aligned, and I've got a couple of issues I need to take care of before I can start rolling it. But right now all my focus is on the Charger. But if it was somehow going to be cool, I wouldn't mind driving the D100 out there. That would be pretty sweet. So, but it's not likely. The Dart's going to be what I'm driving, more than likely, and just hanging out and about. Let's see what else we got. Just Mopar Joe. Frank Parks is a cool dude. Yes, he is. Okay, there's Jason Meister, Mopar Nut 62. Yeah, I knew it. Joe, he's a good guy. 318 will run. Just Mopar Joe. What would your ET be with the car? With the Charger? I don't know. So, almost all my cars have been street cars. I don't have any radical race cars. And so my cars are not like ridiculously fast. But the two cars I took to the track and had the most fun with, I really took three. I took my old D100, which was a lot of fun, but was super slow. I think it was 10 seconds or so in the eighth. And then my Roadrunner, my blue Roadrunner, and my Cornet. So I've only ran the 8th mile because that's pretty much all we have out here. We have Fontana, which is quarter, but I've never ran there. So my Roadrunner down at Qualcomm, and then we had a small kind of crappy track in Paris, California. It ran 8.6 on both tracks. And then I ran the car at Irwindale, and it ran 8.1. So it picked up like a half a second. So I knew the car had more. It just couldn't. It just was not hooking. Didn't have traction. And that car weighed 3,400 pounds. I actually weighed that car, so I know it weighs 3,400 pounds. So using that as a base, my Coronet, and that's got RV iron heads on it. My Coronet has RPM Edelbrock aluminum heads, a lot like, well, the same heads that are on my 68 Charger. So that car ran 8.1 at Qualcomm and Paris. So it was a half second faster than the Roadrunner. I never ran it at Irwindale. My expectation is that it might pick up a half second. It'd be about a half second faster than the Roadrunner was. So I think it weighed about the same. I never actually weighed it, but it's built very similar. I don't have anything lightweight in either car. It was just fiberglass hoods. It was the only, and then the Coronet was aluminum head, so it was lighter in that regard. But the rest of the car pretty much exactly the same. So I think if the Charger ran 8.1, I think that's about a 13-second quarter mile run. I'd be happy if it was right around there. My concern is though that when you take a car out its first pass, it's like there's a lot of I'm not going to have a lot of test time before. In fact, I don't think I'm going to have any test time before the duct tape drag, so I won't be able to dial the car in. So it might actually go slower than 8.1. So anyway, that's my guesstimation. If it ran 8.1, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with that because I think I could probably get it to go quicker. But it is a Charger. It's a little heavier, I think, than the Coronet too. So Muscle City Madness. Hey, what's up? What's going on, Ruben? How are you? He's grabbing a beer. This will be fun. All right. Bigfoot's always fun for small channels, in my opinion. The people in the chat. Yeah, I know everybody in here. I've talked to everybody at some point, either on their own channel or, or wherever in the comments. Let's see. Ryan Barsness says, I want to get some stickers made. Let me know if you guys want any and if you have recommendations for where to get them. Yes, I definitely want stickers. I'll trade. I think, did I send you some, Ryan? I can't remember who I've sent them to or not, but we'll do a sticker trade if I haven't. There's a guy on Instagram that I used. His name is he goes by Side Road. And then Vic's Garage also used him. So that's one contact. I'm using a different guy. There's like a local guy I'm using for the t-shirts. And I want to get stickers made for those t-shirts as well, or stickers like those shirts. So that will, I think that'll be a source, but I haven't gotten anything from him yet, so I don't want to recommend him just yet. Ruben's asking if everyone has got beer. I get acid reflux, man. I can drink one beer and that's it. I can't drink too much because then I get acid reflux and I'm jacked up all night. In fact, if you guys want a quick Mopar story, I'll tell you why. So, well, let me go through the comments. If somebody says, yeah, tell the story, then I'll tell it. Bad Tree Productions. What's up, Blake? He says, what's up, my brother? Hi, everyone. Mike, how much more do Doug headers compare? Um, just Mopar Joe can answer that question. I can't. I think they're very close to being the same as TTIs. Like I said, TTIs were $1,300. Now it was a little extra because I had the bungs welded on the collectors for the crankcase ventilation. So I think if I didn't do that, it would probably be about $100 less because it was like $30, $35 for the kit, I believe, and I want to say $65 for them to weld the bungs on. And I know the set he had was also ceramic coated. Mine were ceramic coated. So we'll see if just Mopar Joe puts in how much he paid for that Roadrunner. So Ruben, who is Muscle City Madness, is telling Joe, come down to Tucson for duct tape drags in October. And Ryan is saying, Bad Tree is here. Ryan, what's up, Bad Tree? Bad Tree, Ryan, how are you doing? Joe, oh, sorry. Stuff like jumps around. Since people are putting comments, it jumps around, I lose my place. I'm getting ahead. So Bigfoots and Mopar says, dude, I'm in the market for 2 sets of headers, going super comps, maybe HP manifolds on other, no TTI. Why not? Got a local ceramic coater if have to deem to fit. All right. So if anybody's got 2 sets of headers or a set of headers, and where are you from again, Bigfoots? Or was it Michigan or something like that? I know it was someplace cold. Iron Horse, Patrick Blake. Jason Meister says, welcome, or says, awesome. See you at Matt's. The D100 showed well at Mopar's in May. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. It's nothing fancy. It's a driver, but she's a good truck. And I don't really worry about her when I leave her in a parking lot somewhere. She's got plenty of dings and scratches and faded paint. So Muscle City Madness is giving props to Ryan. Loves your channel, bro. Keep up the great stuff. Bigfoot saying hello to Muscle City. Muscle City Madness is asking, what are you thinking for the Charger in Tucson 12.5? That would be great, but I think 13. I'd be happy with if it went 13, but it might go slower. Like I said, I'm not gonna have any time to dial this car in. But I did buy wheels and I did buy tires. So check this out. I haven't told any. I don't think you guys know this. So you guys know that I have that twister, right? Or had that twister, that 71 twister, Gringo, or actually the Plymouth Color Saxy grass green. So my buddy Jason that gave me that car, he was when I picked that car up. I'll try to make the story fast. I picked the car up. He was saying that he wants to buy something because the roof was really rusty, right? He wants to buy something a little nicer, like just spend a little more money, buy something nicer that, is a lower hanging fruit. And right after that, Mike Coffey came up with a 70 or 71 Dart, and the thing was badass. It had a 360 in it, 727 trans, 8 3/4. It had a roll bar, maybe roll cage. I can't remember. Like, it had all kinds of stuff done to the car. It was turnkey, and it was pretty quick. So I told Jason about it. Long story short, Jason drug ass, didn't get the car. Mike did some other deal, and he ended up with a 70 CUDA. And well, let me back up. What I told Jason was, because Mike Coffey had already offered me $4,000 for the twister. And I said, all right, I'm like, cool, but I don't have any plans. I don't want to do anything right now. And then the car was gifted to me, so I kind of would feel bad if I sold the car for a profit, and then, here Jason gave me the car, and then sell it immediately after getting it, and for $4,000. So I told Jason, hey, Mike offered me $4,000 for the car. You can have it back if you want to trade it, basically reduce the price on Mike's Dart by $4,000, and that'll soften the blow if you wanted to buy that car. So he was cool with that. He drug his feet too much on it, and the deal didn't happen. So he was asking, he's like, hey, how do you feel? He was kind of excited he was kind of like getting back into the Mopar hobby. The Mopar juices were flowing, and he wanted to get back into it. And he was asking, well, how do you feel about, me getting the twister back from you? And I go, yeah, dude, I mean, you can have it back. If you want it, you can have it. I didn't pay any money for it, so it's all yours. And he goes, all right, cool, man. I appreciate that. And he was saying that he was telling his friends, he's like, that's why I gave you the car, because you're the kind of person that would do that, like just totally give me the car back. I'm like, dude, to me, it's still your car. If I'd paid money for it, it'd be different, but yeah, it's all good. So long story short, he insisted on giving me, he's like, I'm going to give you $500. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that. It's your car, dude. You don't have to give me anything. You're not obligated to pay me any money. You can just have it back. No strings attached. And he insisted. And I said, all right, cool. So he gave me $500. So what's cool about that is I used that $500 to buy the rear wheel, or go towards the rear wheels and tires. And then a few weeks back, or a couple months ago, at work, it was like $600 for being there 25 years. So I was like, cool. So I used that money to buy the front wheels and tires. So I'm going American Racing wheels on it. I put BFGs on the front and 6-inch wide wheels. And on the back, I went with American Racing. These are torque thrusts, by the way. 8-inch on the back, and then slicks. So I guess it's business up front and party in the back, right? So, I really need 2 sets of wheels and tires, one for the street and one for the track. But the money is getting so thin, I didn't want to have street tires on the car and then take it to the track. So I went straight for the slicks. And then, I probably would have gone with skinnies on the front, but for the track, but I went ahead and, opted for street use wheels and tires. So anyway, that was sorry for the tangent, quick little story on the twister and wheels and tires. Bigfoot says, still waiting on the Cornet video. Been watching the uploaded VHF drag videos of it before I ever realized it was you. Oh, cool. So, yeah, God, that goes back to, what is that? That's got to be mid-2000s or so. So I actually started my YouTube channel like 15 years ago. Not anything like this. It's just, I took some videos and threw it on YouTube. So I do have a cool story around that car. But I'll save it for a video. And I know I've been promising you, Bigfoot, for a long time to do that video. But as you can see, man, my plate is full. I just haven't had time. But I'll get there. Let's see. You ever run the Duster at the track? That's from Frank Parks. I have not. I got that car. Man, that car has been a pain in my ass. I've been building that car for probably 12 years or so, and it's like the closest it's ever been done. It's registered, it's insured, it'll start up, it'll run, I can drive it up and down the streets. But even now, it's like I kind of got to that point right when the summer was hitting, so it's like super hot, and that car does run hot. So I need to get the cooling system figured out, but all this stuff with the charger has kind of come into play, and so I've had to The Dusters had to take a back seat. The wagon is also really close. It runs, it starts. I got exhaust on it, even though they kind of screwed that up. I've got to fix a couple of things. But that's also taking a back burner to the Charger. So I'm actually kind of anxious to get the duct tape drags behind me and the Charger behind me. I don't think the Charger is really going to be done by the time the duct tape drags hits, but I'm anxious just to like put that car aside for a little bit, take a break from it, and then button up the wagon and button up the Duster. So I do want to get the Duster to the track. I'm very curious what it'll do. I have no idea what it'll do. Any sidetrack. I have a 67 Valiant Safari wagon that I have fitted a 440 727, had to make my own headers. Damn, was a factory 225 slant 6. Right hand drive makes it very hard for headers. Yeah. So in Australia, I think you'll have to let me know if this is true or not, but I think I remember reading an article in Mopar Collector's Guide about it. They are very strict over there. Like here in the US, you can import a car from, say, Australia or England that is the driving, all the driving and everything is what we would call the passenger side or the right side of the car. You could drive that here, and there's no issues with it, really. If it came from the factory like that, they don't have any problems with it. But over in Australia, if you were to import an American car over there, you have to convert everything over to the other side of the car. So I'm not sure if because I think the slant 6, the way it leans, that's not going to change. So that would be a nightmare, I would imagine. Let's see. Iron Horse is saying, Ryan, yes, on the stickers. I get mine done local. And it just jumped again. So sorry. Try to find my place. Man, you guys are really throwing out a lot of comments out there. Let's see. Okay, I found my place. Bigfoot says to Battery, I'm at work, got busted by my boss on her way out. Damn. Sorry, Bigfoot. Battery is laughing. Jason Meister, margarita for me. Ryan Oaf, be careful, Bigfoot. Busted. Oh, Iron Horse is telling Bigfoot, don't worry, everybody's hiring. Bigfoot says my 2-inch Dougs painted were like $650. I think that's about right, because I think they charge about $300 or $400 for ceramic coating. And I've also heard if you just take them somewhere that can do that, it's only like $100, maybe $200. I'm not sure. Frank Park says A-body cars have just the right size weight to be good street strip fun machines. I would agree with that. However, this is crazy. So I have scales. I loaned them to my buddy Dennis, who has a '69 Pro Street Charger, freaking badass car, and it's kind of got like an old school paint job from the '90s on it. Anyways, what was his car? I want to say my car the Duster weighed 3,150, and I think his car weighed 3,200 pounds. So now, granted, that's getting a Charger really light, but it's kind of surprising. If you can get a Charger or B-body that light, that's pretty cool. Now his interior is completely stripped out of the car. It's like street. He's got a roll bar, but all the other parts, man. And I don't know how much weight he saves, but he's got on the K member, but he's got like I can't remember the brand, but it's all like tubular K member and lower control arms and stuff like that. Think the upper A arms as well, but I'm not sure. So maybe there's some weight savings there. Pretty sure he's got aluminum heads, you know, all the typical aluminum stuff to lighten up the motor. But you would think there would be a bigger discrepancy, you know, a bigger weight difference between the A body and B body. My Roadrunner weighing 3,400 pounds. I think a typical Duster with a big block, you know, it's probably like my car, probably around 3,200 pounds. It's like, wow, for 200 pounds. I mean, 200 pounds is still 200 pounds. That's 2/10. That's 2 car lengths. So that's a significant savings. All I'm saying is you can get a B body pretty light too. But yes, I still agree. A bodies, and I love Dusters. I love Dusters and Demons. To me, they're the perfect A body. I love them as drag cars. They just look bitchin'. Just Mopar Joe. The Dougs were under $800 if I remember right. Damn, man. See, that's a pretty significant cost savings. Now, I know you said they were made in Mexico. I know the TTIs are made, or at least watching the video, it's implied they're made in the U.S., but I don't know if they're still made in the U.S. I mean, they might be made in Mexico now, too. I don't know. Battery, never had a problem with TTI, but guess we were lucky. Yeah, like I said, Blake, I have them on my Coronet, no problem. They fit like a glove. So what do? Mopar City Madness. I'm going the Doug Header route. Joe's install video didn't stress me the F out. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, I don't blame you. I know I was almost I actually went back and watched Mopar Joe's video again because I saw it when he released it, and then after my fiasco, I went back and looked again, and I was almost disappointed that he didn't have any kind of issues. He kept saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, no problem, fits clear, plenty clearance here and there, no issues." Yeah, it's not right, Joe. It's not right. So Iron Horse says good things here, Blake. A bodies are cool. Mopar Nut, yeah, Mopar Nut's got a cool A body as well. Battery, Joe, how you doing, brother, man? Mike, wow, 800. They look great, Joe. Mopar Nut, you got 16 watching you. Doing good, yes, sir. Well, I think it's down to 12 now. So Ryan's asking, Battery, you going to any of the Iowa Mopar shows this weekend? Mopar Max or Mopars on the Mississippi? Ryan says Minnesota, Bigfoot's, Twin Cities. Just Mopar Joe says, what's up, Battery? Got my Rapid Transit stickers in. I need some BTP to round out the collection. Battery. Yes, Ryan, we'll be both shows. Plan on driving Nacho to Mopars on the Mississippi. Battery, St. Joe, PM me on Facebook. I assume all you guys watching, you probably either have the channels or you're already subscribed to these channels. But if you're not, definitely go check these guys out. Battery Productions is pretty cool. They got a pretty sweet little CUDA 67, and it's. If you like patina cars, that's a cool patina car. I mean, it's reminiscent of just like life in the 90s, right? I mean, when we were coming up and we didn't have any money, and you bought something and you're just piecing the car together and putting parts together and trying to get it to be a nice hot rod and stuff. So I love that car. Battery. Let's see. Ryan says he's not sure if he'll make it. Muscle City says, hopefully it runs 14, so I got a chance. Yeah, it might, man. It might. I hope it runs. I just want it to go down the track. I don't know if I'm going to get that far. So, but like I told you before, if I make it, I'm anxious. I want to put my cameras on, or we're gonna have to either share footage or something. We're gonna have to point cameras from your car to my car and my car to your car. That'd be pretty bitchin'. I look forward to that. And if it doesn't happen this year, I'll have a whole year to get everything dialed in on the charger so that next year it's running for sure. Iron Horse is asking, Blake, did you get mine? Battery. Ryan says you can never spell my name right. Not sure who he's talking to. Bigfoot. Well, bat phone ringing. Ryan, gotta go for now. Great seeing y'all here. All right, Bigfoot, you're probably already gone because I'm behind on these comments. But have a good night. Southern Oklahoma Mopars. It's midnight for me. Just dropping in to say hi. How you guys doing? Good to see you're still up. Frank Parks, love the classic torque thrust, old school. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I actually had a 69 Charger, and my wife had a 64 Plymouth. It was a 4-door, and I put those. We bought torque thrust for it. It had the gray centers, and we got rid of that car, and then I put those wheels on my 69 Charger, and I was like, man, that thing looks sweet. So I'm kind of anxious to put them on a Charger again. Only these ones are polished. So just Mopar Joe's checking out. He's probably already gone. Y'all don't forget to let the dog out. I'll holler at you. BTP, everyone. I hope have a large part shipment soon. If anyone actually needs anything cheap. Okay. Ruben at Muscle City Madness. Blake, you got getting all this. Gotta race this guy in October. Battery later, Ryan. Southern Oklahoma Mopars. It's midnight for me. Just dropping in to say hi. I think I already read that. I guess I jumped around. Yep. Okay. It's torque thrust. Like 15 aluminum intakes, including tunnel rams. So just Mopar Joe. He's getting 15 aluminum intakes, including tunnel rams. Wow. Okay. Battery. The old lady said, you do you, homie. So that might be a yes. Oh, Muscle City really sounds like... Huh. Frank Park says, can you say gutted B-body? Yeah, I'd say yes. That's probably gutted. I think, so if you guys followed Chris Birdsong, he weighed a Charger. It was a 69. I think it had a 383 in it, big block, air conditioning, like all stock stuff in it. And the car weighed 3,800 pounds. So, Chargers, they got all the bells and whistles. The Duster is perfect drag car. Jason Meister, agreed. I agree. Hemi sidetrack. The engine is offset to clear left-hand drive steering box. Okay. Australian A-body Valiant pre-71 RUS design or RUS design. Okay, so pre-71 is US design. Yeah, it sounds like a boatload of work, man. Muscle City. You ever see Joe's header video? Guy really knows how to slide the pipe in. Okay. Looks like some porn site or something is jumping on here. Only fangirls, Shashkia. Yeah, whatever. All right, Frank. Good night. He's probably already gone by now, but Muscle City. Joe's Iron Horse. I have a 69 Dart that we will be building into a drag car eventually. Ooh, that would be cool. So Ruben's asking, Muscle City's asking, Johnny, what is your reasoning for low stance cars? Traction looks cool. I'm stink bug kind of guy for that 70s, 80s look. Yeah, to me it looks cool. I like them low. I like the wheels kind of tucked inside of the wheel wells. It just looks more aggressive or badass looking to me. So my blue Roadrunner I had really low. I had 3-inch blocks under it, I think, and I cut the bump stops on the lower control arms just like my recent video, and just had the suspension slung really low. And yeah, I just love it. It just looks mean the way it can, and you know what? You might be surprised. The freaking car handles pretty good being that low to the ground. That low center of gravity really makes a big difference. And I didn't have sway bars on that car either. So, but fun car. Mike, love Dart. Sounds good. Iron Horse, Bad Tree, 69 Dart will be tits. Iron Horse, got the car for free out of a field. So it probably tells you what condition it's in. So dry car, yeah, it's probably pretty rusty. If it's anything like that truck you bought, geez, I was blown away, man. I never seen rust like that before. So Bad Tree drug home I think it was a 97 Dodge truck. And he takes the camera under the back and he's showing the U-bolts over the rear end. And it's like just flaking. It's like flaking away. I'm like, holy shit. California, we don't have that. We don't see that. We see rust, but it's usually just on the surface. But some of these old cars, they still get rusty. I had a 70 Cornet RT I bought from my buddy John Jones, completely rusted out. I don't know where the car came from. It probably came from somewhere where it's rusty. And then I found a 4-door pop up over in Venice Beach. And I went and bought that car for, God, what was it? I want to say it was like $600. Had a 318 in it. It was super rusty. So the guy that I bought the car from said that he remembered the car as a kid, and that car had been there its whole life. So the guy was a local, and he'd drive the car around, and he's tried to buy it, I guess, a couple of times, and then I don't know, somehow he found the car, and 30, 40 years later or whatever, I think the old man died, and the kid inherited the car. He bought it off of him, and he was stoked to get it, but he was like, yeah, I just wanted to be rolling through town, bombing with my buddies. And he said it was just so rusty, and it didn't run right. It wasn't running very good or something. I don't even know if it was running, but I never got it running. I drug it home, and it just rusted in weird places because it was a beach car. So all the salt in the air, and then when it's misty and it falls to the ground, and then you have the mist come off of the ground up into the car. So it did have some rust in the lower corners of the windows, but not that bad. But the bottom of the car, like in the lower quarter panels and like that bracing area where the back bumper attaches to, super rusty. And then it was like weird spots up front too, like around where the wheel well openings are. So kind of a weird deal there. Iron Horse says, the 90s when we were embarrassed to get picked up in a rusty car, and now it's cool. Yeah, right? Muscle City Madness. What's the acid reflux Mopar story? Oh, all right. Oh, I can tell you. So I had a 71 Dodge Polara. I can't remember. I think I was rolling my 68 Cornet at the time, and I think it had the 383 in it. And I believe, so kind of two stories rolled in one. I'll make the Cornet story quick. It had a 318 originally, I bought this rolled over 68 Cornet with a 383. I put that into my car, and the rear main seal is leaking really bad. I'll save all that story for the Cornet story. But I was ready to tear the car apart and get it painted and build a 440 for it. So I needed a set of wheels, and I wanted to get something cheap. Back in the 90s, you could, or this, yeah, I think this was the late 90s, 2000. Yeah, 2000 to 2002-ish. So going through, was it Recycler? I don't know if Craigslist was around yet or not. It might have been. Anyway, found this car in San Diego. I call the guy. He's asking $900 for it. It's white. The roof is rusty because it was a vinyl top car. And it's like, yeah, it runs like a top. Blah blah blah. Come on down. I go, all right, cool. So I'm going to tell you the whole story of the Polara. Sorry, not just the acid reflux part. So I go down to San Diego, have a friend go with me, pick up the car, pop the hood, and this thing was like somebody baby painted the engine baby blue. It had a 360 two barrel. The 360s had those big two barrels on it. So it was painted baby blue, and somebody like hand painted flames on the valve covers. So I was like, okay, what's going on there? Tweaker, or I don't know. But fired it up, drove around the block, ran like a top. I was like, well, and I was, because it was a C body, you didn't pay a lot of money for C bodies back then. So I said, I'll give you $600, but I won't give you a penny more, And he said, I'll take it. I was kind of surprised because I was like, I think 600 is probably all I had. But after driving it, it was like, it ran pretty good. I'm surprised he sold it so cheap. Now, here's the other thing. This was a clue. The motor was like really clean, like it'd been pressure washed. I thought, what's he hiding, But I thought, the guy, it was a Mopar shop down in San Diego. Had a bunch of Mopars there. And I thought, well, makes sense that you would clean up a car if you're just flipping it anyway, right? So no big deal. So drove the car home, and I can't remember. I think my buddy drove it home, and he was in front of me, and he romped on it, and the thing just started smoking like a train, man. It was like a freaking smoke screen behind the car. And I thought, oh, shit. What's that all about? That's not good. Get it home, and then it was nighttime by then. Next day, go out there, and there's oil all over the motor, everywhere, like everywhere. I'm like, where is it coming from? And I try to wipe it up around the valve covers, the timing chain, the intake manifold. I mean, it was literally coming out of every engine gasket, pan, everything. So I wiped the whole motor down, jump in the car, drive it around the block, come back, not a drop. I'm like, what the hell? Drove it to work, and jumped on it, smoked like a train, got to work, oil all over the engine. I'm like, shit. So I could drive this thing, but I'm going to have to just keep my foot out of it. So I was telling my buddy at work about it, and he's an old school dude that, was a mechanic at one time. And he goes, I know exactly what's wrong with it. And he goes, it's the breather. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, the breather gets clogged up. And then when you start building crankcase pressure at higher RPM, that all that pressure has got somewhere to, it's got to go somewhere. So it starts squeezing out of all of the gaskets. And I'm like, I've never heard anything like this before. This sounds ridiculous. But it's true. It was coming out of every gasket. There was no one spot. It was on the intake manifold. It's on the valve covers. It was on the timing cover. It was everywhere, literally everywhere. And so I thought, all right, what's a breather cost? It doesn't. And in fact, back then, like AutoZone and Kragen, and it was Kragen back then. I don't think O'Reilly's existed back then, but they carried breathers that were like Mopar style breathers for small blocks, like on the Dodge trucks and stuff. So I bought one, put it on the motor, drove it, romped on it, and never leaked a drop after that, man. that car was bitching. So anyways, fast forward a little bit. I got a job down in San Diego, so I was driving to San Diego and back every day. That car had 276 freeway gears. Oh man, I love that thing. That thing would, so between where I live, which is Riverside County, and San Diego, down the 15 freeway, there's a lot of like, the highway kind of goes way, down and then back up and then down and back up. It does that all the way down. And I would haul ass in that car. I'd have that thing. I mean, because it was geared so high, the motor was just barely humming. So like at 3,000, 3,200 RPM, maybe 3,500 RPM, I would just be flying in that car. And it had disc brakes up front, so it stopped really good. So going downhill, I'd have that thing at 120 miles an hour. The speedometer is just like pegged. And then it would go uphill. And then because the car is just heavy, it would slow down to like 90 miles an hour, and I just did that. So whenever there was nice long gaps between on-ramps and stuff. So when I'd start getting close to an on-ramp, I'd slow down to make sure there was no highway patrol. And if there wasn't, then I'd get back on it. If there was, then I just stayed slow until I got distance out, So anyway, I got into an accident. So if you're familiar out here, in just south of Temecula, there's a Border Patrol checkpoint on the freeway, on the 15 freeway. I haven't, not that I go to San Diego much, but I don't even know if they still use it or not. But back then, they would like randomly decide to set up like a checkpoint. So that day, I'm hauling ass, and there was like a Nissan hardbody pickup behind me most of the way. He was hauling ass too, and it would be like go downhill and then put a big gap between us, and then go uphill, and then he would kind of catch up. But we were cooking. I mean, we were probably doing like 90-ish. And right where you get to the checkpoint, it's kind of like, and everybody's hauling ass because, I don't know, fewer people back then, that direction. Anyway, we're all hauling ass. And they just started setting up the checkpoint. And for whatever reason, there's like more cars in the left lane, in the fast lane, than the other lanes. And so you're kind of coming up, and then you realize, oh shit, everybody's hitting the brakes. So you start to brake, and I would have gone into the number 2 lane, but like there was another car hauling ass, and I couldn't get over. I would have cut him off, and he would have hit me or had to slam on the brakes. So whatever, no big deal. I'm just laying on the brakes hard. The car's got disc brakes. It stopped really good. And just as I come to a stop, and I'm nowhere close to the car in front of me, I look in my rearview mirror, and that Nissan pickup was coming at me like full speed, and he's probably 3 car lengths away, full speed, like he's not paying attention. And I'm like, shit. So I turn the steering wheel and I floor it, and the car probably just, like, here's one car, here's my car. I think I got the car just nosed over, and then bam, freaking hit me hard, like probably 90 miles an hour, 80 or 90 miles an hour. And it V'd in the back bumper and the deck lid. The car freaking, I mean, all that energy from his truck went into my car. It was like I was from 0 miles per hour to like doing like 40 miles an hour or so, and here I am just like freaking, hands in the air. And the car, at least it didn't, at least I got the nose over. So I kind of went around. By the time I came to a stop, I was like 3 cars up. But I felt fine. I got out, it was fine. But the cop came, took his report. The guy's girlfriend in the truck like hit her head on the visor or something, like, so she had a big old gash. The Border Patrol was coming back with like a medical kit, called the ambulance and all that shit. The cop's like, all right, I got all your information. He's like, this car is like a Sherman tank. He's like, if it runs, you could drive home. And I'm like, all right, yeah. Fired it up, ran fine. It just, all the taillights were broken out of it, but figured he's letting me go. Screw it. So I drove home. But the next day, man, oh God, whiplash is real. My back was freaking killing me. So long story short, with the acid reflux, um, I think it came from that accident. There's like a just below your diaphragm, there's like a valve that goes into your stomach. And I think when I hit that kind of it came up above, it's like above the diaphragm. I ended up going to see a doctor later. I forget what they call it, some sort of hernia type of thing. Basically, that valve is always open. So when I get a lot of acid and stuff, if I eat too late and I go to bed, that shit in the middle of the like as soon as I fall asleep, it's just like it comes up, you know. So beer, a lot of things give me heartburn. Beer is a big one. It gives me heartburn really bad, and I have a bad night. So I can only drink one beer, and it's got to be early in the night. You know, say like 7 o'clock, and then go to bed at 10 o'clock. Like it's kind of got to be through the system, you know. So there's my story. Let's see, where were we at? Keith Herbert, yeah, I'm used to having rust. Wish I could go out west or south to get a car that I like. Bring it back. Dealt with rusty cars all my life. Man, sorry to hear that, Keith. I've only had I think that RT and that parts car I bought were the rustiest things I had. Most of the rust stuff that I've had here, that Twister when I had it, the roof was really rusty. It was a vinyl car. The rest of the car is pretty solid though. Yeah, we just don't have rusty stuff out here. Mike Cantrell, Keith, IL guy here. I don't know if that's Illinois. Guy here had my Dart shipped to me from Oklahoma. $600, worth every penny. So it sounds like you got a solid car. Iron Horse. They're a lot less rusty out here for sure, but rust is becoming a major problem and it's moving westward. Yeah, I think, I think all it is like here in California, we still get rust. Like we get rust in the lower corners of the back window, the bottom of the A pillars. If there's seal issues and water gets into the car and in the carpet, um, and the car's sitting outside, it'll rust through that. The trunks get rusty because that what do you call that? That vinyl thing they lay on the trunk. It's like moisture gets in there. Once that weather stripping gets wiped out, gets in there, it rusts, gets in the lower quarters and rusts. So we still get the rust. It's just I feel like we're on a slower timeline is all. Like the stuff you guys see back east or in the Midwest, it's like accelerated decay. Here in California, car can sit pretty long. But my high school car, my '68 Charger, I took it apart a long time ago, and I don't have any weather stripping in it. So there's no carpet in it or anything. So when it rains, water gets in there, but I have all the plugs pulled on the car. So water gets in and it drains out the holes. The car doesn't have any rust. There's a couple rusty spots on the car that have gotten a little worse, over the last, 30 years I've had it or so. Let's see. Bad Tree Auto Trader with a Camaro that says Galen Govier numbers matching. Left my ass off. If you get it, you get it. Yes, sir. Maybe he's expanded into Chevys. Who knows? Muscle City says, I wonder if that's what's wrong with my Challenger. It smokes like crazy. Yeah, it could be, dude. If you got an old breather on it, put a new one on there and see what happens. It's definitely possible, especially if it's only doing it under hard acceleration. Like idling, it's fine. Driving around the streets, it's fine. It's not till you get on the freeway. It's definitely what was the problem with that car. And I swear to you, dude, it didn't leak a drop after that. After I changed that, wiped the engine down, it was freaking bitching. I mean, I'm sure it had some seepage and stuff, but nothing major at all. Muscle City. I was thinking rings, but breather and crank pressure makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's cheap. That's why I did it. I didn't believe my friend. Because I know how ridiculous it sounded to me. I'm sure it sounds ridiculous to you guys, but ultimately, back then a breather was probably less than $5. So I don't know, today, 15, $20 or whatever. Yeah, put a breather on it, see what happens. It's worth spending just to see if it makes a difference or not. Battery says old mirrors suck. Uh, Mopar nut. What a hit. Okay, thanks, man. What hit would definitely change things in my spine? Oh, I thought you were saying what a hit for the live, but you're talking about getting hit in the back of the car. Yeah, it was a pretty big hit. Um, yeah, it jacked up my back for, man, at least 10 years. I'd say the first 5 years were really bad. I kind of screwed up too. At that time, I didn't have PPO. I had HMO, which kind of sucked. Um, so I had to go see a regular doctor, and you got a schedule. So it was like 2 weeks went by before I saw the doctor. Then the doctor says, "Oh yeah, you got whiplash. All right, we're going to send you to rehab." So then I had to schedule an appointment to go to rehab, which was like 2 weeks before I got there. I went to rehab for 2 weeks where they put like these pads on you that are like stimulating or whatever, and you do some exercises and shit like that. And then it's like, yeah, I'm still jacked up. I need to keep going. And it's like, you got to start the process over from the beginning. So it's like, you got to go see the regular practitioner, then you got to go see the expert, and then you got to schedule for rehab again. And I was so frustrated. I kind of felt like, well, it'll just get better. So I didn't go back. And then all the medical bills and stuff that I accrued, I submitted it to the, insurance company, and they paid me for everything. But honestly, I probably should have handled it better. I should have probably saw a lawyer or something. I just didn't know it was going to be that bad. And then, but once they pay you, it's like you're done. You can't go back. So, or at least I didn't think you could. But yeah, I jacked up my back for quite a few years. So let's see. Iron Horse. All right, guys, it's been fun, but I'm checking out. All right, man. Good night. You guys have a good one. Good weekend, I should say. Mike says, dang, brutal wreck and acid reflux. No fun. Yeah, it's not. I've gained weight since then, too. So that kind of contributes to, being fatter and I don't know, keeps that valve open more, I guess. Battery says, later, bro. Muscle City Madness, sweet new video idea. Mopar Nut, it's in California in the future. You're from future Johnny. We all sleepy. Yeah, I know. I guess I got to start at like 4 p.m. here, so you guys are up at a decent hour for you guys. Muscle City Madness. What's in California? MN62 Mopar Nut. I think he's just talking about the time difference because it's late for him. He's on the East Coast. He's totally on the East Coast. Bad Tree says, later, dudes. If you're at Mopar Max, say hi. Have a good night. You too, man. And have a great weekend. Mopar Net 62. Okay, California is earlier than I am at 1:19 a.m. for him. Later. Muscle City says later. Okay, Muscle City Madness. Johnny, what's the fastest quarter-mile time for you in what car? I've never been down the quarter mile, but the fastest car I've been in on the track was my Cornet. And like I said, it went 8-1. So it's like a 13-second car in the quarter mile. But I think it probably could have picked up at least a half second because it had the same traction issues that the Roadrunner had. You know, I bought Slide-A-Links, which are kind of like Caltrack bars for them. Well, I bought them for my Roadrunner, and I never got to putting them on. It kind of stopped going, and then I got the Cornet running and everything, and then I took the Cornet to Qualcomm a couple of times, and then I was running it at Paris a few times, and then I thought I'll put the Caltrack bars on that car, but I never got around to it, and so I don't know. It maybe would run a 12.5, I'm guessing. So, all right, that was the last question, guys. People are falling off. There's 8 of you left. We've been doing this for about an hour and 16 minutes, so I think we're gonna go ahead and call it. I appreciate all you guys popping in and you know, throwing some comments out there and having a chat. And we'll catch you guys later. I think maybe if Chris Albrook at Talking Mopars is coming on, I might go see if he's there, maybe pop in there. Otherwise, I'm going to crash, and I'm going to call it a night. You guys all have a great weekend. Again, appreciate you guys coming down or popping in, saying hello and stuff. And if any of you guys are going to be at Duct Tape Drags, I might need your help pushing the car. So, all right, we'll talk to you later. Peace out.